oil rig workers have an 8 to 12-hour shift with breaks for food in the morning, noon and night. One might have to do night shifts since this industry operates 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. While this may seem tough, a 2-week work session on the rig will earn the worker a holiday of almost 3 weeks. One's life is drastically altered when they choose to enter this field. Life on an offshore oil rig used to be difficult, but there have been considerable changes and the living circumstances have improved. To prepare for work on the rig, safety glasses, hard hats, coveralls, and steel-toed boots are given out when the visitor arrives. Before and during the workday, safety instruction is performed regularly. Even though it can appear difficult, a 2-week shift on the rig will result in a nearly 3-week-long vacation for the employee. This is intended to make up for the physically demanding work on the offshore platform. Additionally, one does not have to bother about food, laundry, or lodging while on a rig. Bunk beds are frequently used in rooms since they conserve space and encourage coworker camaraderie. Additionally, the rig includes designated smoking areas where smokers are given safety matches to ensure compliance with safety regulations at all times. A few amenities on the rig include movie theaters, televisions in every room, a fully equipped gym, indoor sports facilities including table tennis, and computers with internet. A few decades ago, the call times were restricted and the rig crew could only phone their homes once every 2 weeks. However, with the development of advanced mobile and broadband technologies, oil rigs are now well equipped to offer the employees the different internet pleasures, including a super-fast Wi-Fi connection and uninterrupted and limitless voice calls. Although the job may seem very fulfilling and intriguing, it's important to keep in mind that there is a certain amount of risk involved. Because the nature of these operations involves horrible catastrophes and accidents, the environment in which the rig operates is very hostile. A portion of the highly combustible fluids that are extracted from the soil are burned in slack flares to separate the deadly sulfide gas. Accidental exposure to these chemicals is always a possibility, and it can have negative effects. Cranes, which can hoist big loads, are among the dangerous and heavy equipment that is always in use. Even in adverse weather, windy or stormy climates, work is done at great altitudes. Life on an oil rig is thrilling and exhilarating, but it also has its share of danger, whether the worker is on the rig or an off-rig worker like a paramedic, maid, caterer, etc. The risks involved have significantly diminished because to more modern and secure technology. However, using good judgment and adhering to best practices are always recommended. A crew member's typical day on an oil rig. Work shifts on an oil rig are determined by your arrival time and current level of productivity. Following that, you are given a 12-hour shift to work and a 12-hour break. Depending on the type of task you do, the precise time can change. The corporation frequently assigns you to labor for longer durations with enough breaks in between because you are on the rig for 2 complete weeks with little options for amusement. So it's feasible that you'll stay up for close to 16 hours before falling asleep for the final 8 hours. Although many of you may find these hours shocking, keep in mind that on an oil rig, every time that is not spent resting is considered to be working. Therefore, scheduled rest periods and mealtimes are incorporated in this time frame in order to enhance staff well-being. Every crew member on board has a roster with a specific timetable that is closely adhered to in order to ensure that no time is wasted. Your day may begin at midnight, thus the oil rig operates on a 24-hour schedule. We can see that, despite the fact that it may seem lengthy, the day is full of breaks designed to offer the workers a break. Additionally, they can meet up with their co-workers during work hours, talk to their family that lives on the beach, or cook a snack from the pantry, which is always stocked. Education and training for life on an oil rig. A layperson should not undertake the difficult undertaking of working on an oil rig. The labor is unusual, the machinery is exclusive to this industry, and the physical exertion can be difficult. Because of this, the majority of oil and gas firms have a lengthy list of standards and credentials for its employees. People with little education can apply for entry-level positions on an oil rig after completing a diploma or the required training. They can work as welders, stewards, floor workers, and galley workers. With a focus on stability and other issues, the engineers will need degrees or certifications in constructing strong offshore structures. Worker qualifications in operating heavy machinery and specialized equipment are required for those who perform mechanical repairs, instrument installation, welding, etc. For instance, a wide range of training programs and credentials are necessary for employment in the offshore and marine welding fields. Finally, when making calculations, operations and logistics experts must take into account a variety of factors, including the weather, the number of workers needed, safety regulations, the physical demands of the job, etc. Companies frequently train their staff members on these abilities, but they also look for proactive people with credentials. This distinguishes them from the competition and gives them professional experience. Establishing a link to the mainland. Any offshore work requires a connection to the mainland, so that is always vital. It serves as the closest location for resupply, supplies, and aid in an emergency. Because of this, all businesses in this sector give careful thought to how they organize the logistics of transit to and from the mainland. Specialized adapted VTOL helicopters are the most popular means of moving crew, employees, and equipment. Known helicopter producers include the Bristow Group and Airbus. Such aircraft come in many classifications and are used for various purposes. Less than 10 passengers, including the pilot, can be transported by light helicopters. Small groups can be transported from the beach with this, and a small staff can investigate offshore pipelines. They can transport necessities but not hanging loads. There are two primary types of medium helicopters. The passenger model can accommodate bigger passenger groups and is frequently utilized for shift change operations involving 15 personnel. Larger loads and even medium-sized hanging loads can be carried by the cargo variation. Heavy-duty helicopters can carry up to 20 passengers, heavy pieces of equipment, and hanging loads. They are employed in heavier duty and more durable applications. Vertical takeoff and landing, or VTOL, describes a craft's ability to ascend or fall vertically without experiencing any off-center motion. This is ideal for maneuvering in small spaces and tight spaces. Furthermore, there is a lower possibility of the helicopter tail colliding with any machinery. Although elevators are frequently used today, crew workers on board the transport vessel must climb the buoyancy columns of these rigs to reach the main deck. Staff compensation and benefits on an oil rig. Despite the demanding lifestyle of an oil rig crew member, it is a fulfilling opportunity to be at the forefront of a complicated and ever-evolving business. Rest certain that only a select handful can handle the task of these professionals. The benefits for employees on an oil rig are numerous in addition to the high pay. When you consider that they work with cutting-edge equipment and require prior knowledge, the remuneration is unmatched. Additionally, there is a chance to work in various locations across several continents and areas. This is a fantastic chance for water lovers to experience the splendor of the ocean up close. They often labor for 2 to 3 weeks per shift and then get the same amount of time off at the end of the shift. This implies that you can spend time with your family after work. This time is set aside for you to unwind, even if you might once in a while be asked to come into an office for briefings or team meetings. The parent firm typically offers housing, a job for the spouse, or other family perks while these people depart their homes and travel to far-off platforms. Additionally, the entire family is covered by insurance. Last but not least, if you're an adventurer, this would be your dream job because it allows you to work in a dynamic industry that requires a lot of you but also pays you for your dedication and hard effort.